I am a federal informant.
Listen, buddy, I don't know who you are, what hero syndrome you're trying to.
Get your hands off that evidence, or I will shut this entire scene down. The words cut through the night like a blade. Flashing lights bounce off wet pavement, radios crackle, voices overlap, and in the middle of it all, one woman stands perfectly still while a uniformed cop stares her down like she just crossed a line she can't come back from. What would you do in that moment? Back off or double down? Because she doesn't move. We're looking at Maya Carter, 34, calm, focused, almost too composed for someone surrounded by chaos. No badge visible, no uniform, just a quiet authority that doesn't match the situation, yet somehow controls it. Across from her is Officer Daniel Brooks, 41, veteran cop, known for taking charge, the kind of officer who doesn't get questioned, especially not in front of a crowd, and definitely not by someone who, on the surface, has no business being here. "Step away from the scene," Brooks snaps, stepping closer, his voice louder now, sharper. He's not asking anymore, he's asserting control. But here's where things get strange. Maya doesn't argue. She doesn't panic. She doesn't even raise her voice. Instead, she studies him, like she already knows something, like she's been waiting for this exact moment. And suddenly, you start to feel it too, that quiet shift in the air, the kind that makes you wonder, who's really in charge here? Around them, other officers begin to slow down, conversations fade, eyes turn. Something about this interaction isn't normal, and everyone can feel it. Brooks reaches for his radio, calling in something we can't fully hear. Backup? Confirmation? Maybe both. But then, Maya leans in slightly and says something low, controlled, precise. We don't hear every word, but we see the reaction. For the first time, Brooks hesitates. Just a flicker, a crack. And that's when the question hits you hard. Why would a trained officer, in control of an active scene, suddenly lose confidence? What does she know? Because this isn't just a disagreement anymore. This is a collision. Authority versus something deeper, something hidden. And just when it feels like the situation is about to explode, Maya takes one step forward, crossing the tape, breaking the boundary, forcing a decision that no one saw coming. And everything is about to change. Before we continue with this video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for updates. 12 hours earlier, everything was quiet. Too quiet. Maya Carter sat alone in her car, engine off, eyes locked on a building that looked completely ordinary, a small office, dim lights, nothing suspicious to the average person. But this wasn't average. "People don't hide secrets in chaos," she once said. "They hide them in normal." And this place, it was hiding something big. For the past 4 months, Maya had been undercover, no backup, no visibility, no room for mistakes. Posing as a financial consultant, she had slowly worked her way into a network suspected of laundering money through shell companies and fake contracts. But here's the twist. Every time they got close to making an arrest, something went wrong. Operations failed, targets disappeared, evidence vanished, like someone always knew. Which meant one thing. There was a leak, and not just any leak, someone inside law enforcement. Let that sink in. The very people meant to stop the operation might be protecting it. That's why Maya was out here alone. No local police, no shared intel, just her, a wire, and months of carefully built trust. Tonight was supposed to be the breakthrough, a controlled exchange, a drop, the moment everything finally connects. She checks her watch. Right on time. A black SUV pulls up. Two men step out, faces she recognizes from weeks of surveillance. This is it. This is the moment she's been waiting for. Her hand moves slightly toward the recorder hidden beneath her jacket. Stay calm, stay invisible. But then, something goes wrong. Headlights. Bright, sudden, unplanned. Maya's eyes snap to the street. Police cruisers, multiple, pulling in fast. Her stomach drops. No, this wasn't part of the plan. Who called this in? The suspects freeze. One of them reaches for his phone. The other scans the area, already on edge. The entire operation is collapsing in real time. And then she sees him. Officer Daniel Brooks steps out of the lead cruiser like he owns the scene. No hesitation, no confusion, just immediate control. That's not normal. Officers responding to a call don't move like that unless they were expecting it. Maya watches closely now, her instincts screaming. Brooks starts giving orders, fast, aggressive, and completely out of sync with protocol. He redirects officers, moves people around, even approaches individuals who were supposed to stay untouched. Why? Why would he interfere like this unless he had something to protect? Something or someone? Maya's pulse quickens. If he keeps going, the suspects will scatter. The evidence will be gone. 4 months of work gone. And worse, whoever's leaking information will stay hidden. So now she has a choice. Stay undercover and lose everything, or step in and risk exposing herself completely. Maya exhales slowly, eyes locked on Brooks. And then she opens the car door. Because something about this isn't just wrong, it's personal. Step back, ma'am, now. The command is sharp, immediate, final. We're back in the present, and the tension hasn't dropped for a second. Maya stands just inches from the tape, the flashing lights reflecting in her eyes. Officer Brooks is already moving towards her, his posture stiff, his patience gone. To him, this is simple, a civilian interfering, a situation to shut down. But to Maya, this is everything, and she knows it. "You're compromising an active investigation," she says, calm but firm. "Yeah? Then show me a badge," he shoots back, louder this time, making sure the surrounding officers hear it. This isn't just about control anymore, it's about dominance. And here's the problem. Maya doesn't reach for anything. Not yet. Instead, she asks a question. Who authorized you to take this scene? It lands harder than expected. You can actually see it just for a second. Brooks hesitates. Why?
Because that's not a question civilians ask. That's a question insiders ask. The energy shifts. Officers nearby start paying closer attention now. Conversations slow, eyes narrow. Something about this exchange isn't adding up anymore, but Brooks recovers quickly. "Last warning," he snaps, stepping closer. "You're interfering with police work." And then he makes a mistake. He grabs her arm. Everything freezes. For a split second, the entire scene holds its breath. Because Maya doesn't pull away. She doesn't react like someone scared. She looks at his hand, then back at him. "You really don't want to do that," she says quietly. Not a threat, a warning. Now ask yourself, why would she be this calm? What does she know that he doesn't? Brooks tightens his grip slightly, doubling down, trying to force control back into his hands. But the confidence he had earlier, it's slipping now. You can hear it in his voice, see it in his eyes. That's when Maya steps forward, deliberately crossing the tape. Gasps ripple through the small crowd. She's just escalated this beyond a simple confrontation. Now there's no going back. "You've already contaminated the scene," she says, her tone sharpening. You've moved evidence, redirected witnesses, and you're about to destroy a federal case. That word hits. Federal. Silence. Brooks's jaw tightens. "Prove it," he says. And this time, Maya doesn't wait. Slowly, deliberately, she reaches into her jacket. Around them, officers tense, hands hover near holsters, radios crackle. The situation is seconds away from spiraling, but instead of a weapon, she pulls out a badge. FBI. The air changes instantly. You can feel it. Officers step back. The weight of the moment settles in. This isn't a misunderstanding anymore. This is something bigger, something serious. But here's the twist. Brooks doesn't look shocked. He doesn't look confused. He looks caught. And Maya sees it. She steps closer, lowering her voice so only he can hear. "You weren't supposed to be here." And just like that, this stops being about authority and becomes about exposure. You weren't supposed to be here. The words don't just land, they echo. For a moment, everything slows. The flashing lights, the distant chatter, even the tension in the air, it all feels suspended, like the entire scene is waiting to see what Officer Brooks does next. Because now, it's not about control anymore. It's about truth. Brooks steps back. Subtle, almost unnoticeable, but Maya catches it, and so does everyone else. You can see it in the other officers, the shift, the uncertainty, the quiet realization that something isn't right. Just minutes ago, Brooks was leading this scene. Now, no one's looking at him the same way. Maya doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. "Lock the scene down," she says, turning slightly toward the other officers. "No one moves anything. No one talks to anyone without clearance." And here's the moment that changes everything. They listen to her. Not Brooks. Her. That alone tells you everything you need to know. Brooks opens his mouth like he's about to object, but nothing comes out. His authority is slipping, piece by piece, right in front of him. Maya steps closer, lowering her voice again, but this time, there's no warning in it, just certainty. You didn't just interfere with this case, you were protecting it. And right there, that's the turning point. She signals to the arriving federal units, unmarked vehicles pulling in silently, agents stepping out with purpose. No lights, no noise, just control. "Officer Brooks," one of them says, approaching calmly, "step away from the scene." He hesitates, just for a second. Then, finally, he complies. But the damage is done. As he's escorted away, the entire scene feels different, heavier, like everyone knows they just witnessed something bigger than a simple mistake. Maya watches him go, her expression unreadable, because deep down, she knows this isn't the end. It's the beginning of something much worse. So what really happened that night? Once the chaos settled and the scene was fully secured, the truth didn't come out all at once. It unfolded piece by piece, like a puzzle finally locking into place. And every piece pointed back to one man, Officer Daniel Brooks. Internal records, dispatch logs, and phone data revealed something disturbing. Brooks had been receiving early alerts on ongoing operations for weeks, not officially, not through proper channels. Someone inside the system had been feeding him information, and he had been passing it along. That's why every raid failed. That's why suspects kept disappearing. That's why Maya's investigation kept hitting dead ends. It wasn't bad luck. It was sabotage. Brooks wasn't just a cop who made a mistake that night. He was actively protecting the very network Maya had been trying to expose. Using his badge as cover, using his authority to manipulate scenes, redirect officers, and quietly destroy evidence before it could be used. And that night, he showed up early for one reason, to shut it down before it could finally succeed.
But he didn't know Maya was already there. He didn't know she had been watching, and he definitely didn't expect her to step out and stop him in front of everyone. That decision, risky, exposed, and completely against protocol, ended up saving the case. The evidence recovered that night led to multiple arrests within the network. Financial records, communications, and witness statements, all preserved because Maya intervened when she did. Now let's talk about the aftermath. Brooks was suspended immediately. Within days, he was formally charged, not just with obstruction of justice, but conspiracy and aiding criminal activity. His career didn't just end, it collapsed publicly. The same authority he once used to control situations became the evidence used against him. And he wasn't alone. The internal investigation expanded. Several officers were questioned. Some cleared. Others weren't. The department itself faced scrutiny, because this wasn't just one bad decision. This was a breach of trust. For Maya, the emotional weight didn't hit until it was over. In a quiet moment, away from the lights and noise, she finally allowed herself to feel it. Relief, frustration, and something deeper. Validation. She trusted her instincts when it mattered most. She stepped in when everything told her not to, and because of that, the truth came out. Her work didn't just close a case, it exposed a weakness in the system. And in the final scene, we return to that same street, empty now, silent. No flashing lights, no tension. Just a reminder. Sometimes the biggest threat isn't the criminal you're chasing. It's the one standing right beside you, wearing the same badge.